As we close off with our conversations this morning, coming to you live from our Oshakati studio, the Namibia Water Corporation Limited, NamWater, is a commercialized water entity and is not privatized. Now, the water utility supplies water in bulk to industries, government institutions, municipalities, local authorities, commercial entities such as mines, and to the Directorate of Water Supply, and that is water supply, yes, and sanitation in the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Forestry. They are also here at the Uuvudhiya Annual Trade Fair with more on this and on the operations of Namibia's only water utility. We're now joined by Lot Ndamanomata, who is the Head of Public Relations and Corporate Communications at NamWater. Mr. Ndamanomata, good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure to be here.
How does it feel being on the other side?
It's weird, though.
You feel like you want to ask me questions right now?
No, I was about to put on my earpiece. Yeah, but it's been a minute. It's
All
good
right.
to be here.
Amazing. Just talk to us about some of the services that NamWater is offering at the Uuvudhiya Annual Trade Fair this year.
No, thank you very much. This become a practice for NamWater to always showcase its products and services at the Uuvudhiya Annual Trade Fair, this being the 23rd edition. It's no different. So basically what we are doing in a nutshell, we have given an opportunity to actually our customers, retail customers, that is to be able to locate us in the Queen's Hall where we are situated, together with the HRDC. The HRDC is basically responsible for our TVET training. It's located in Okahanje, so we'll also be giving simulations of to how the training takes place, how we extract water, how the process of those that are involved with the TVET facility can be trained, and also basically the requirements of to ensure that you apply for TVET, to be considered. But also in a nutshell, in the larger context, is for us to try and ensure that, people come and check on their water accounts. So what we have realized over the couple of days, you will find that some citizens might have located, for instance, from the Oshana region to the Commerce region or Erongo region, but they have not been making payment to their account since 2018, for instance. So there's an opportunity for you to bring your meter number with your identification or your bill number, come there to our stall, and then obviously we're able to engage you. So we talk about what is it that you owe, what are the repayment periods that you can start paying, that to ensure that you obviously clear the debt. So it's really, for us, it's an opportunity to engage about the services that we offer, but more so also really to provide a conducive environment for our clients to pay. And what, in addition to that, is also the fact that we have a partnership with NamPost, which is also a state-owned institution, where payments can also be made in a form of cash, because currently we are only accepting swiping facilities, and so NamPost is also a partner in this regard.
All right. Just talk to us about some of the projects that NamWater recently completed.
Well, we currently, over the last couple of months since April, we've been engaging in groundbreaking facilities to the tune of more than 1 billion in terms of water-related infrastructure. That we're talking about the Hentis Bay extension, kilometer for around about 10 kilometers, that was funded to couple of millions, and obviously just to strengthen the water supply within Hentis Bay. Then again, we're talking about the Ondangwa-Mtso-Nime pipeline, which is over 40 years old. It's lived beyond its life expectancy, so we definitely have started with the first 17 kilometers in terms of repair and moderation, and that costed us roughly around about 91 million. The other infrastructure is obviously, which we know well about, which we continue to talk about, that is a Angwena well-to-well field water schemes. That is part of the Angwena Aquifer, which we are aiming to work and integrate and improve on. We're spending around about closely 250 million. And then we also have, that is the Rundu Water Treatment Plant extension and associated work that is costing us around about 665 million. This is aimed to reduce the burden of water-related services within Rundu and the near surrounding areas. And obviously now, one of our latest projects is the issue of the fact that we are also going to be engaged with the Otapi Water Treatment Work Extension and Upgrade. This one we have only just issued out the contract, and obviously the signing ceremony took place. It is valued at 123 million. So we're expecting that a groundbreaking ceremony will be taking place sometime very soon, and so that we can also definitively ensure that we are on track to ensure that we, in moderation, upgrade our infrastructure. The challenge is that we want to to unveil more water resources, but as long as the infrastructure is old, we are not being able to do that. So I think the most important thing is trying to invest in that infrastructure to ensure that we are able to meet the demand of the Namibians as we grow.
All right. Now, can you just elaborate on the water pumping operations into the Etaka Uuvudhiya Canal? Specifically, what is the process involved, the scale of the operation, and how does it fit into the NamWater's broad water distribution strategy?
No, thank you. The Etaka Uuvudhiya Canal opening of the taps will actually be taking place today, around about from 10 o'clock, with the governor of the Umsati region, together with the CEO of NamWater. This is part of the drought relief intervention, where farmers definitely are complaining that the canal is dry. Obviously, there were some damages to the canal, and then after that, the Office of the Prime Minister, through the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, unveiled approximately 3.9 million to do the upgrading, the rehabilitation of this canal. It is not yet fully completed, but we have reached more than half of the kilometers, since it's around about 130 kilometers in terms of the canal. So we'll also have an opportunity today to see the work that has been done. But I think it's a good question that you asked, and I think we want to emphasize actually this canal constantly is being repaired because of vandalism that is taking place. We see be it farmers, be it individuals that are diverting water from the canal for their own purposes, be it for fishing. Some are even resulting to the extent of even making their own bricks just alongside the canal, diverting the water, hence, necessarily not reaching the intended purposes for the people that are supposed to receive it. So all the people that are supposed to be along the canal initially are supposed to benefit. This also, we are calling for an opportunity for retail customers, if they want to be connected to the canal, that they apply through NamWater offices so they can be able to tap water. But it gives us an opportunity now, because farmers will be happy. This canal does not only remain in Umsati region, but it goes as further as in Ondonga, that is Oshkoto region, and also as further as Oshana region here. We are currently having this interview. So definitely it's very impactful, and we are looking at obviously engaging the traditional authorities today, and also just seeing what it is that we can do to better to ensure that the damages that has been happening in the past and the vandalism that has been happening to the infrastructure does not actually happen now, and see how the beneficiaries who have been crying for this actually are benefiting once the tap are switched on.
All right. Now, we do understand that recent reports indicate that NamWater is owed a significant amount in debt. How are you addressing this issue?
Well, this is actually a good question, because mostly we assume that the fact that we are a state-owned enterprise, that water should not be paid for, and I think this is an unfortunate part that I think most Namibians have to understand, that NamWater's infrastructure is old. That is, on average, this reached 40 years when it's not supposed to be the case. The Ondangwa Omtseonime pipeline, for instance, built in the late 60s, it's approaching 42, 45 years of age, so which means it's unable to meet that demand. And the unfortunate thing is that people have not also been paying their rates and taxes. Pardon me, we are not a municipality, have not been paying their dues. So in terms of this, we are owed 2.1 billion. As of June 30th, 2024, this includes individuals and private individuals who owe NamWater around about 312 million. We're also looking at town council sitting at over 684 million, village council over 131 million. So what we need to understand is that if we don't reinvest that money into NamWater to upscale its infrastructure, we're going to have a problem. At the end of the day, we'll continue complaining that we are not able to meet the demand, because in order to upkeep this demand, you need to keep constantly reinvesting. And I think what is worth noting is that while we appreciate government's help over the last couple of years, NamWater has not received an increase in tariffment over the last couple of 5 years. So that means even if there's no increase in tariffment, we still expect it to continue to provide water, but that water comes at a cost. For instance, if you look at the Etaka Canal that we're talking about, for instance, today, I'll give you, for instance, that more than 500,000 is being used to pump water, because majority of the water extraction process and treatment of processed water, we depend on electricity. So already over 600,000 is going towards those, for instance, the power needs just to ensure that the taps are flowing. So there are costs involved. So, and we operate not on a profit basis, but we operate on a recovery-based process. So hence, which means what we put in is what we expect to get in return. So as long as the water sources are also limited, it also becomes, again, difficult. The issue of spotty or rainfall that is not consistent, that is also affecting our ability to be able to provide enough water. I know our current water demand as a nation stands, the water developed resources by NamWater stands at 348 million cubic meters, while the demand is only at 180 something million cubic meters. But the central area where Commerce is, as well as the Rongo region, the demand slightly exceeds what the current developed water sources. That means is that if, for instance, in the coast we are supposed to supply, for instance, 20 million, you'll find that the cost demand is at 26 million. It has exceeded. So, for instance, hence we are talking about the issue of the desalination plant needs to come, because it will relieve the pressure of the mines that are in the coast, for instance, and they are forever extending. We're talking about, for instance, green hydrogen project. We need to be there to ensure there is consistent water supply. And if we don't get that money that goes in to be recovered, then at least we will still be the same people that will be complaining at the end. But we do appreciate those that make an effort to pay. But however, it's a collective responsibility. And as you know, that NamWater does not receive subsidiary from government. There's been quite a number of years. It was only in the initial founding of NamWater, but as of recent years, there hasn't been any resource allocation. We do implement projects on behalf of government, but however, there are no subsidies coming from government towards NamWater.
All right. Now, talking about implementation, what are some of the ongoing projects that NamWater is currently working on?
I think the four ones that we have mentioned earlier, those are the biggest one that we are currently working on, and we had the pleasure of having the Minister of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, Kalesh Ladvain, who did a groundbreaking that is for the Hentis Bay project, that is for Ondangwa Mseonime. We're talking about the Angwena 2 water scheme, as well as the Rundu treatment plant. Also did all those groundbreakings, and we expect him also to do the groundbreaking in Otapi once the processes are finalized. But obviously this investment over 1 billion obviously came through also through NamWater's own resources, through the African Development Bank. Now we're also talking about the issue of the desalination plant, which we're expected to produce approximately 20 million cubic meters. So it relieves a lot of pressure. The Kavango Links projects, which we're also hoping to finalize, stakeholder mapping and engagement, so that we hope to commence with that project very quickly. As you know, that Kavango Water Links has to concern also our developmental partners. We don't share that water resources alone, so there are modalities in place in which how much resource we can access from that river. So we are looking forward to ensuring that we work on this project, and I think if we work on this project, it will also relieve the pressure also that is in Commerce. Commerce is growing, for instance, it's part of the Central Area Network, but not enough alternative water resources are being developed. Even, for instance, the city of Windhoek that has got its own boreholes, they are also a bit strange, and that's a fact that why they're always saying that, use water sparingly. Yeah. It is not because we want to say it for the sake of saying it, but because it's a must. Otherwise, we don't necessarily want to have a capital where we are struggling with water. That would be a catastrophe. So I think it's a collective responsibility for us to ensure that we do that, and we always think that the NBC is always available to spread that message.
All right. Well, Mr. Ndamano-Mata, thank you so much for joining us this morning, and all the best with today's program.
Thank you very much.
All right. Lord Ndamano-Mata, the head of public relations and corporate communications at NamWater, joining us this morning, talking to us. They don't forget to visit NamWater's stall in Uuvudhiya annual trade fair this year. Well, those are the interviews we had for you this morning. From myself, Ndapewa Ambabi, and the entire team, it's back to you in studio.
Ndapewa and team there from